welcome to another edition of Fire Your MD. Now, I'm your friendly neighborhood naturopathic physician, Dr. Peter Glidden, bringing 20-plus years, I'd have to count, 24 now, I think, 24 years of clinical experience as a licensed naturopathic physician, helping people to recover their health without the use of prescription medicine. Because remember, drugs are like guns. It's not the gun itself, it's not the drug itself, it's how it's used. Breaking news, Sharon Osbourne of, Ozzy Osbourne fame and the American Idol, or whatever it is that she is a judge on, has decided to get her a double mastectomy. Not because she has breast cancer, but because the doctors have told her that she has the BRCA1 or BRCA2 genes, and that because she has these genes, she's at a greater risk for getting breast cancer. So let's be preventive. Why don't we? Let's just hack the breasts completely off. Now, at first blush, this may sound like a reasonable thing to do, but when you drill it down to the nuts and bolts, it's just another example of allopathic, MD-directed medical insanity, and is a testament, by my way of thinking, of the utter, complete stupidity of the American public, our allegiance to the MD-directed medical method, and our genuflection on the altar of MD-directed pharmaceutical medicine. This is a testament to both of those pieces of our intellect, our intellectual body, which are immature and have yet to develop into fully mature human beings. What I'm trying to say is, if you think that you have a bad gene in your body, you're an idiot. Even if you look it up on Wikipedia, it will tell you that the BRCA1 and the BRCA2 genes, everybody has them. These genes are responsible for the formation of breast tissue and the regulation of certain metabolic processes inside of the breast. You need them to be alive. The problem with the BRCA1 and the BRCA2 genes, which are collectively referred to as the BRCA genes, right? The BRCA genes stands for breast cancer gene. It's not the gene that's the problem, because everybody has the gene. It's a mutation to the gene. It's a particular mutation to the gene. It's not the house. It's the mold in the house. It's not the wood on the house, it's the mold on the wood in the house. It's not the nails holding the house together, it's the rust on the nail that's holding the house together. The problem with the gene is not the gene. Everybody's got the gene. The problem with this particular gene is that sometimes it mutates. And if you have a particular mutation, particular damage to the gene, then yes, in fact, you do have a greater chance of getting breast cancer. But rather than drilling down to try to attempt to figure out what the heck it was that caused that gene to go bad in the first place, MDs just march in and say, you know what we're going to do? We're going to cut them off. We're going to knock the house down. We're going to knock the walls of the house down. That's what we're going to do. Then we're going to pour chemicals into the body, toxic chemicals, which have been proven and published to be completely ineffective in the treatment of breast cancer. We're going to pour those into the body, and then we're going to irradiate the crap out of the tissue just to make sure we've got everything correct, which is insane on its face, because ionizing radiation has been proven to cause gene mutation. Exposure to toxic chemicals has been proven to cause gene mutation. But when you're an idiot in charge of the monkey house, anything goes. And, when you have all of the power and all of the legislation, when you have a license to kill, as MDs do, think I'm lying? Leading cause of death in the United States, MD-directed medicine. 780,000 people a year are killed by MDs. 780,000 people a year are killed because they went to see an MD. 780,000, we don't bat a freaking eyelash. 3,000 die in Iraq, we go to war. 3,000 people die in the Twin Towers, rather, and we go to war. MDs kill 780,000, and then Sharon Osbourne gets on TV and says, I got my breasts cut off preventively, and we all get behind her and clap. Oh, isn't she a great, upstanding role model? Well, you know, Sharon Osbourne, I doubt that she even has a high school education. Maybe she does. I mean, maybe she came from a well-to-do family. I kind of don't think so. She doesn't, she might have street smarts. She's got a lot of money. You know, she married that insane rock and roll guy, Ozzy Osbourne, who's drugged out of his mind half the time. That's a whole nother story. I'm not going to judge somebody. I'm not going to call somebody out when they're not here to defend themselves. But please, Sharon Osbourne, we're actually going to use her as an example. So I'm telling you what happened. The MDs convinced her that this was the thing to do, and she believed them without question because she saw all the research. But what she did not see, and what the MDs did not tell her, because quite frankly, half of them don't even think this way, is they're not concerned with what caused the mutation to the gene in the first place. They don't give a damn. As far as they're concerned, hack the breasts off. Just cut them off, baby. Let's be preventive. If it were up to the MDs, we'd be like the Borg on Star Trek, half man, half machine. We'd have fake eyes, prosthetic limbs. You know, we'd all be like RoboCop, right? This is the end stage. Think it through. If MD-directed reductionistic allopathic medicine was effective, if MDs had complete communistic control of everything that's possible, everybody would have their breasts cut off preventively, everybody would have their tonsils hacked out, everybody would have their adenoids hacked out, everybody would have their pancreas removed and just give you shots of insulin because you don't want to get pancreas cancer. Everybody would have fake lungs, everybody would have fake knees, everybody would have fake hips. And we'd all use prescription medicines to control all of the metabolic processes in the body all of the time. This is the MD medical model of health. And we've bought it hook, line, and sinker. You don't think you're immune from this? You don't think that you're that foolish to go down this road? Well, just look at your checkbook. Look at your pay stub. Look at your tax forms if you're from Canada. And see how much money you've given every month to the medical industry in the form of medical insurance premiums. But back to Sharon Osbourne. From our point of view, Dr. Wallach, my colleague Dr. Wallach of Dead Doctors Don't Lie fame, proved while he was working in the 1970s at Emory University at Yerkes Primate Research Center that cystic fibrosis is caused by genetic damage to a particular chromosome set. It's the same thing. It's a mutation on a particular gene that MDs and idiotic, knucklehead, close-minded, immature, juvenile, wannabe Einsteins have misunderstood. They think it's a gene, but it's not. They think there's actually a gene that codes for cystic fibrosis, but there is not. There's a particular chromosome that looks a particular way under a scanning electron microscope. But the reason that it looks that particular way is not because it's a specific gene, it's because of chromosomal damage. The same way there's chromosomal damage to the BRCA gene. It's not the gene, it's the mutation to the gene. What causes gene mutation? Nutrient deficiencies. In the case of cystic fibrosis and muscular dystrophy, it's not enough selenium. Not enough selenium causes the genetic malformation that pushes the expression of cystic fibrosis forward. Cystic fibrosis isn't like a gene manifestation. It's incomplete maturation of the body. It's a mistake. It's not, a gene that codes for an extra finger or the gene that codes, have half your hair turn white and half your hair turn red. It's not like that. It's a mistake. It's a malfunction of the gene, right? Get it? It's a malfunction. Causes improper growth, improper expression of a particular part of your body. And the whole science of epigenetics now is developing, right? These MDs are all on board this train now, epigenetics. And they're half right about epigenetics, because what epigenetics argues is that chromosomal material can be mutated, can be damaged over time. And there are things in the environment that can damage it, like mercury toxicity, like not enough nutrition. And this is the fact from our point of view with the BRCA gene. Regardless of, I'm not saying that we know what causes the genetic mutation, but something does. But the MDs think, oh, it's just the thing. You're born with a genetic mutation. You always have the genetic mutation. That's the way it is, and that's a fool's errand. The only reason they believe that is because that was their professor told them, and nobody questions it. Why did their professor tell them that? God only knows. This is how medical myths start. These are the same people that wanted to bleed George Washington to death, for goodness sake. Cut him open with a lancet. Let him bleed out the ill humors. And we let him. George Washington killed by MDs. Operating, professing, promoting the best medical treatment of their time. Well, it's no different with cancer. It's no different. Sharon Osbourne needs her head examined. She has been played. And now they're propping her up as, the spokeswoman. Oh, get your breasts cut off, too. Unbelievable what it's come down to. In the 21st century, when we are beneath the jack-booted heel of the pharmaceutical industry, these are the same people that killed the Jews and the Gypsies and everybody else in the concentration camps of World War II with the Zyklon B gas that they made in a great big pharmaceutical plant right outside of Auschwitz. And guess who they used to work there? The inmates of the concentration camps. They put them to work. They did experiments on them. And now they're selling your children aspirin and you the false notion that you have a bad gene and need to have your breasts cut off. Ladies and gentlemen, I am the red pill. Snap out of it, wake up, and fire your MD now. Don't be like Sharon Osbourne, folks. Don't be like Sharon Osbourne. Get a clue. Take your health into your own hands. Stop eating the foods that are hurting your body. Take the 90 essential nutrients every day as if your life depended upon it, because it does. And up the ante with your antioxidant intake every day with a minimum of 20,000 ORAC of antioxidants a day. Maximum, there is no maximum. If you want to live to be as old as Methuselah, you should target 100,000 ORAC a day. 100K of ORAC a day will keep the grim reaper away. We're going to go right to the phones now. Michael is calling in with a question about hair loss. Michael, I'm listening. Welcome aboard.
How are you today?
Pretty good. Thanks for the call.
Well, I have a 6-year-old daughter, and she had a Rocephin injection close to 3 weeks ago. And prior to that, the reason for it was she was having a fever every other night for about a week and a half, close to 2 weeks, ranging from 99 to 104 degrees. My wife took her to the doctor, and she got this Rocephin injection. And now her hairline has receded back to her ears, and it looks to me like by the end of the week she's not going to have any hair at all. There are some patches in the back missing, still in some areas that are fairly thick, but I'm really concerned, and I'm not sure what to do here. I'd like your thoughts.
Okay, well, Rocephin is the correct way to pronounce it, and, it's a pharmaceutical, it's an antibiotic, it's a very intense antibiotic, it's intravenous, it's expensive, and, what can I say? When all you have is a hammer, everything looks like a nail, so the MDs see chronic fevers, so they think there's got to be an infection, so they give the napalm. They give intravenous napalm. And, that's what they do. And why do they do it? Because they can, and they can get away with it. So the first thing that I would do is I would use the Internet and do a Google search for Rocephin and see what the side effects are. Then you also want to get the medical report. You want to see what dosage they gave your daughter, and you want to get a second party to tell you whether or not that was the correct dosage. Go to a pharmacist and say, look, this is how much my daughter weighs. This is how much Rocephin they gave her. Was that a safe dose? And if it was not a safe dose, and if what she is experiencing is, a known side effect of Rocephin, then get yourself a good lawyer and sue the bastards. That's what I would do. Now, for the health of your daughter, what are we going to do? Well, there's no use crying over spilt milk. We can't go back in time and stop the injection. So what do? Well, we do for your daughter what we would do for anybody in a compromised situation. So what we do is we fall back on the belief and the notion that her body, your body, my body, everybody's body has the ability to fix itself if it has the proper nutrition that it needs to fix itself. So in order to strengthen her system and give her a fighting chance to, hold her own against the negative onslaught of the side effects of the intravenous antibiotic, here's the recommendation. 1 healthy start pack per 100 pounds of body weight per month. 1 bottle of selenium, ultimate selenium, per 100 pounds of body weight per month. And I would also give her a product called Nightly Essence. Nightly Essence is a combination of the beneficial bacteria that the human digestive tract needs in order to be healthy and digest food and uptake nutrients. All of that was arguably destroyed by the intravenous antibiotics, so you're going to need to put the good bacteria back in her body. And one of the best products I've seen anywhere to do that is a longevity product called Nightly Essence. So get her some Nightly Essence, get her some selenium, get her the Healthy Start Pack, keep your fingers crossed, and do some homework about the Rocephin, because you do not want to let these people get away with hurting your daughter. Take a swing back. Why not? What do you got to lose? I'm Dr. Peter Glidden, taking your calls when we come back. Don't even think stupid is as stupid does. Let me read you a brand new study that just popped up on my inbox today. NBC News reports daily multivitamins do not lower heart risks, the study finds. Multivitamins might help to lower the risk for cancer in healthy older men, but do not affect their chances of developing heart disease, and new research suggests. Number 1, and that was a quote, unquote. Number 1, multivitamins, it says multivitamins might help lower the risk for cancer. No, multivitamins help lower the risk for cancer. Number 1, that was proven in a study that was released about a month ago. Here's when you drill it down. So headline news, multivitamins are ineffective. Don't take them. People use them as a crutch. You're an idiot if you take your multiple vitamins, all right? And when you drill it down, here's actually what they did. The U.S. Physicians Health Study 2 monitored 15,000 healthy male doctors, aged 50 and older, for more than 10 years. These participants were randomly assigned to take either monthly packets of Centrum Silver or fake multivitamins. After 11 years, there were no differences between the groups in heart attack, stroke, chest pain, heart failure, or heart-related deaths. So therefore, they conclude that multivitamins are ineffective at helping with your heart, when what they should conclude is that doctors who take Centrum Silver in ridiculously low doses every day have no benefit from the multiple vitamin. Which is like, I could produce a study, right? Let's say you went to your doctor and you had a sinus infection, and the doctor swabbed your nose, cultured it, and sent it to the lab, cultured it, and it came back that it was positive for Staph aureus, and that you needed 30 milligrams of Cipro twice a day for a week. 30 milligrams of Cipro twice a day for a week. Well, if you took 5 milligrams of Cipro once a day for a week, it wouldn't work, would it? Now, does that mean antibiotics don't work? No. It means you didn't take enough. Well, it's exactly the same with multiple vitamins. Multiple vitamins are a dose-dependent phenomenon. You need to take enough in order to produce the right effect. And depending on what you're eating when you're taking the multiple vitamin, the food is going to bind to the stuff in the nutritional supplement, disallow you from absorbing it, or depending on the form that the multiple vitamin is in, your digestive tract might not be able to break it down at all or digest anything out of it. So you swallow the Centrum Silver and you poop it out. But because medical doctors have no training, no respect, no appreciation, and no understanding at all of vitamins, they're able to put forth a study like this, and they're idiots for doing it. I mean, if your doctor published a study, if the U.S. Physician Service reported a study that said, drinking a Coca-Cola every day is related to higher amounts, or drinking soy milk every day is related to higher amounts of breast cancer, you might find that a little curious. That was a bad metaphor. Folks. My point is that in order for multiple vitamins to work, it's a dose-dependent phenomenon. You have to take enough of it, and you have to be able to absorb it. And Centrum Silvers are amongst the most difficult vitamins to digest of their kind. Here's how it goes in the vitamin digestion department. The most easily absorbable nutrients are multiple vitamins are those that are in a liquid form. The next easiest for your body to absorb are those that are in a gel cap. You know, like those old Contact. You remember you could break those apart and dump the stuff out? Those are the next easiest to absorb. The next easiest to absorb are a hard-pressed tablet. And the hardest for your body to absorb are the hard-pressed tablets with a shellac coating. The shellac coating is there to make them easier to swallow. And that's what Centrum Silvers are. Centrum Silvers, number one, don't have nearly enough in each capsule to generate a therapeutic effect. They don't. You know, like trying to put a forest fire out with a squirt gun. Oh, we tried that water. Water doesn't work putting out the fire. Couldn't do it. We tried water. Didn't work. Well, you idiot, you just didn't use enough. You know, you got to use a hose, not a squirt gun. We tried to put that fire out with the squirt gun water, but it just didn't work. Therefore, water is horrible fire putter-outerer. Yeah, I don't think so. You're an idiot. Well, it's the same with this. In order for vitamins to be effective, you have to take them in a dose appropriate for your body weight. They didn't do that with these doctors. They gave everybody one little packet of Centrum Silver. You got to be kidding me. You got to be kidding me. And then they stand up on the rooftops and wave the flag and mislead millions of Americans into not taking vitamins. And meanwhile, their drug-induced Prozac shrunken brains, the therapeutics that they deliver, are the leading cause of death in the United States. And we're going to take their advice? We're going to take their advice? You're going to take Al-Qaeda's advice about what to do for Homeland Security? No. They're the wrong people for the job. They work at cross purposes to Homeland Security. You're going to take the drug company's advice? You're going to take MD's advice about anything other than drugs or surgery? It's a fool's errand. And we need to call these people out onto the carpet. This is just bad science. I don't care if you believe in vitamins. You know, a freshman in a statistics course could poke 1,000 holes in a research study like this, but your tax dollars paid for it. And now they're misleading you. This is like Tokyo Rose, for goodness sake. For goodness sake, it's propaganda. It is unabashed, unbelievable, in-your-face propaganda. Don't you believe it. As a matter of fact, I want it to piss you off so much that you cancel your medical insurance. Call your medical insurance company right now. Say, you stink at what you do. I'm not going to follow your advice anymore. I'm going to take the best vitamins in the world offered by Longevity. I'm going to change my diet. I'm going to increase my antioxidants. And you can go pound sand. Here's what you're going to do, buddy. You're going to change my comprehensive medical insurance into catastrophic. I only want medical insurance for trauma and for injuries. That's it. I don't care about my annual exams. I don't care about my annual blood work. I don't give a damn about anything. I'm not giving you murderers my money anymore. Go pound sand. That's what I want you to do. That's what you should do. That's what a sane person would do. And then write an angry letter to NBC. Tell them if they publish BS material like this, you're going to cancel your cable subscription and never watch them again. For goodness sake. Do a little Google search. See who owns NBC. See the relationship between NBC, CBS, ABC, the media in this country, and the pharmaceutical industry. You will be amazed. You think you're getting honest, objective information? You're wrong. Even the editors of the major medical journals, when they retire, have gone on record saying that medical journals lie and that the research they provide is just extensions of pharmaceutical propaganda. You're not getting the truth anymore. You're getting pharmaceutical propaganda. That's what medical research journals have devolved into. Laundering informations, laundering resources for pharmaceutical propaganda. Don't take it, folks. Don't take it. Stop taking it. Draw a line in the sand this far and not any further. Luis is calling with a progress report. I believe Luis, if that's how you pronounce your name, I think it is. You are live. Thanks for calling back. What's going on?
Okay, we spoke on Wednesday. I told you that I was constipated after 3 months of being on the Healthy Start Pack.
Yeah.
So I followed your directions, and I got off the BTT for 3 days, and I started it again, like you said, put 1 scoop in 12 ounces and sip on it for about an hour to an hour and a half.
Yeah.
And, I noticed it got a little bit better. I started having a bowel movement like every other day instead of like twice a week like I was before.
Yeah. So, all right, so since you started it again, what's happened?
Like I said, I started it today, and I actually had a bowel movement today, so I've been going like every other day now. Okay,
so all right, good. So that's what was causing the problem, and so the thing with you is the thing with most people. Excuse me, folks, I got a frog in my throat today. I'm lecturing too much. I had a great time in St. Louis last weekend. We were in East St. Louis and St. Louis proper, spreading the good word about health recovery through science-based, clinically verified medical nutrition. But more to the point, Luis, if the Beyond Tangy Tangerine was not the cause of the constipation, when you stopped it, nothing would have changed. Your constipation would have remained unchanged. So since that did change, it means that the Beyond Tangy Tangerine was the culprit. Now, why is the Beyond Tangy Tangerine the culprit? The culprit is not the Beyond Tangy Tangerine. The culprit is your digestive tract's inability to absorb it efficiently. So if the Beyond Tangy Tangerine causes constipation, which it did in your case, it's not because of the Beyond Tangy Tangerine, it's because of your intestinal tract's inability to absorb it, all right? So this is a diagnostic clue, a diagnostic indication that your intestinal tract is having trouble absorbing nutrients. And that's its job, by the way. Its job is to absorb nutrients, your small intestine. So the only thing that causes, well, the major thing that causes inability of the small intestine to absorb nutrients is wheat, barley, rye, and oats. So because of your experience with the Beyond Tangy Tangerine, you must stop eating wheat, barley, rye, and oats. Don't do it. No more wheat tortillas, man. You can have the corn tortilla. No more flour tortillas. You can have corn, not wheat. No more granola. No more oatmeal. No more bread made from regular flour. You can have gluten-free bread, gluten-free pizza, gluten-free cookies and crackers. Get the burrito bowl instead of the burrito. You have to stop eating wheat, barley, rye, and oats, Luis, or your health is going to go to hell in a handbasket moving forward. This is a drop-dead diagnostic indication that your body does not like gluten. So you have to be gluten-free. You have to be gluten-free, buddy. And, I would mess around moving forward with different dosages of the Beyond Tangy Tangerine in different dilutions to dial in for your body exactly the right amount, that you need to take in order to not get constipation. So this is an indication that you must be gluten-free. And I would play around with it for a little bit longer. Do 1 level scoop in 18 ounces of water and hit it over the course of 2 hours, right? Or, put 2 scoops in 32 ounces and drink from it all day long, whatever. Mess around with the dilution of the Beyond Tangy Tangerine until you get one that works perfectly for your body. But the root cause of this problem is gluten, baby. You just got to say a goodbye to gluten. Chris is calling with a question about belly fat. Chris, welcome aboard.
Yeah, hi, doctor. Thank you for taking my call. I have been on the Beyond Tangy Tangerine, the Healthy Start Pack, for about a year, and because I'm not a big consumer of liquids, I'm finding myself having to drink a lot of, the product and then water on top of that. So I switched over to the Super Life line, and having the same problem with upset stomach after I take the product. And okay. I just also been on the enzymes. I just got some enzymes a few months ago, and that's really been helping with digestion in terms of when I eat, I get kind of a sore stomach.
Yeah.
So the enzymes have really been helping with that.
All right. So if enzymes are helpful, then one of the reasons is that your digestive system, specifically your stomach, doesn't have ample amounts of stomach acid, or the stomach acid that it does have is too weak. It's too alkaline, and it needs to be more acidic, right? So when somebody has stomach acid that's too weak, it's not because you have a bad gene. It's not because you have a voodoo curse. The 2 main nutrients necessary for strong stomach acid are calcium and salt. So you need to be salting your food every day. If you're not doing that, get into the habit because you need it. And how do you know if you've used too much salt? Well, your food tastes too salty. And every day your salt demands will change. So start out with a little bit of salt your food, see how it tastes. If you feel like it needs a little more, put a little more on, and it's that easy. And you have to dial in the dosage of the liquid calcium. There are basically 2 types of liquid calcium in longevity, and the encapsulated calcium just doesn't work, brother. I'm sorry, but the king calcium and the coral calcium doesn't hold a fiddle to the Super Life Cal Toddy or the Longevity Osteo FX Plus, which are the 2 types of liquid calcium. So you have to find a way to get that liquid calcium into your body. Mix it with orange juice. Tastes like a creamsicle. As a matter of fact, one of my patients mixed the liquid calcium with orange juice, put it in a popsicle, one of those little popsicle makers you can get at the grocery store, and they made calcium and orange juice popsicles, and they tasted just like a creamsicle. It was brilliant. So you got to find a way to get the calcium into your body in the liquid form. Mix it with whatever the heck you want to, man. Or just hold your nose and throw it down, because your stomach needs calcium and your stomach needs salt. Now, one of the workarounds here, if you do develop any type of upset stomach, when you take the supplements, is to take the supplements, the lion's share of the supplements anyway, in the middle of a meal. So you eat a couple of bites of, lunch, or you eat a couple of bites of dinner, and then you start to take your supplements. And, every second or third bite, you swallow 1 or more capsules, and like that. And if you alternate swallowing the vitamin capsules with eating food, it really eases the burden on your stomach. Because when you just throw vitamins into an empty stomach, most people, it's going to make them feel a little squeamish or a little funny. because your body's just not used to that, and food can help to kind of dampen down the qualmishness that situation will engender. And it's interesting, but the purer the vitamin, the stronger the reaction. It's the crappy vitamins like Centrum Silver that never cause an upset stomach, because guess why? Your stomach can't digest them. They pass right through. I had a patient who owned a porta potty business in Florida years ago, and he told me that in Florida the porta potties were called vitamin machines because when they would dump them out, they're filled with Centrum Silvers. Why? Because everybody in Florida is retired. Nobody's salting their food because the MDs told them not to. Everybody's calcium deficient. Everybody's stomach acid is in the gutter, and so they swallow the Centrum Silvers. They go in one end and right out the other, and then the MD knuckleheads have the audacity to tell you that Centrum Silvers don't make a difference to your health. Well, yeah, guess why? You're not absorbing them. You're not taking enough. Ladies and gentlemen, swallow the red pill, pop out of the matrix, take your longevity supplements, live long and prosper. I'm Dr. Peter Glidden. I'll see you tomorrow.